pieces.
Hello again. Alright, if you guys can't tell by my outfit, it is officially winter. However, we cannot let that stop us from finishing this build. We finally got the final pieces to get the job done. So, let's get started. This is what we've been waiting for. Now, I don't think it's going to work out like that. So, in order for our final pieces to work the way we need them to, that's our turbo. This is the adapter piece that we need with the provision for our wastegate. And the wastegate, in theory, would go right there, but unfortunately that angle is not going to work. Okay, so our exhaust is here. A little bit of space between the dampener and the end of the exhaust. We're going to come up underneath the radiator, and then here we're going to do some sort of magic, and we're going to get that to go into there. Now this eventually is going to have bolts and be bolted down, and then we need our wastegate to clear the hood. Now this piece itself clears the hood, and maybe if I got a shorter wastegate, you know, they make ones that are like, you know, thinner, whatever, but you know, maybe if we had a shorter wastegate, but we don't. We got this, and this is what we're working with. So we need to make this provision here horizontal completely, so that we have some chance of maybe clearing the hood and maybe not having to cut anything. But we will see how far we get with that. We do, however, need to pull out the turbo, because we do need to drill and tap a hole for the vacuum port that we're going to be putting on the housing of this. Now, there are people that do the vacuum on the actual intake plenum, but, well, that's being occupied right now. Another thing that we have to get into is getting rid of this. This is our idle air control valve. This thing does not work anymore and was giving us all kinds of issues. So we're just going to go ahead and delete it. Now we're going to get started on this. It's time for some cutting and welding. We got our wastegate installed. Yeah, now we need it to be more vertical, and even if we were, I mean, it's closed. So we're in the bedroom. We have drilled, tapped, and installed our vacuum port onto the housing of the turbo. Now we get this thing back in the car and get our lines ran to it.
So now I'm outside and I'm just mocking up a bunch of pieces that are random bends and twists and turns, trying to fit up what's going to best work for both the turbo exhaust outlet and the turbo exhaust inlet. I'm trying to make them work around the radiator hose, but we'll see how this whole thing fits up once it's all said and done.
So this is the exhaust inlet to the turbo. So this goes to the V-band that goes into the turbo. So right now we're just working with this, trying to get the right angles to get this to meet up with the rest of the exhaust that's already on the car. Alright guys, we are in the final phases of the fabrication, the cutting, the welding, the fitting it up. There's only a few more cuts to make and there's only a few more welds to make, and then we can finally get this thing started and hopefully see some spinning turbos. Once we see the turbo spinning, then we'll figure out, you know, fueling and our whole fuel system, but that'll be a separate video. But this was the big one. This was the most challenging project that I've taken on so far, but I can't wait to get this thing started. So I'm gonna get you guys over there and we're gonna finish these cuts and welds, see if we can get something hooked up. All right, now I told you guys to stop looking so closely at my welds, but boy, we are in it. This is done. I mean, everything's kind of sort of hooked up. We are going to need some more heat shielding on our radiator here, and we're going to have to wrap our hose in some kind of heat shield as well, being so close to this exhaust system. Then we just need to get our gaskets for the drain and feed, install it, and then we're set. Oh, and then obviously we do want to run our turbo blanket once we get it. Old girl here is having some performance issues. Battery's dead. So all we're going to be able to do about that at the moment is to steal the battery from the Kia for just a second. We're going to start this thing up, let it run a little bit, rev it a little bit, get some of the debris that still might be in the exhaust system out, if it can even do that, because it's so many loops, twists, and turns. But nonetheless, we're still going to do that. And then we're going to eventually pick up some high temp RTV gasket maker, and we're going to seal the final piece of the turbo, and we can finally get everything installed and finally see some spinning blades, which is what I've really been excited for throughout this entire build. Turbo build is pretty much done at this point. I'm just really excited. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna steal the battery from the Kia, and then we're gonna get it in the Lexus. All right, Kiki, that is her official name. This is Kiki, that is Maxie, and that girl there is Burley. And today we're gonna get Burley some juice. Should probably get the other battery out before I carry that heavy battery and get that in here. One hand battery pickup. Come here, girl. Yeah. Oh, just gonna borrow you. Thank you, Kiki. Right there. Huh. Let's see what we hear. Let's see what we do. See what's going on. And this is where our exit is for now, because obviously the turbo goes here and connects everything, but I don't think, aside from that, there's our oil return line in the way. Aside from all of that, I don't think there's anything in the way that should get hurt by seeing a little bit of heat right here. We do still have a ton of heat shielding to do in this general area, but for right now, I think just a little bit of heat shouldn't hurt anything. So let's go ahead and try to run this thing. So what just went down is we forgot to clamp up our oil feed and return line. Feed line just threw a bunch of oil pretty much onto the ground. I mean, there's some water here, so I have no idea how I'm gonna get that up, but that's a later problem. Main problem right now is that this thing does not want to stay running, and I'm not entirely sure why. All right, after we got defeated and wasn't able to start the car, well, today we're taking a look at the spark plugs, and all the spark plugs on the driver's side were completely fouled and covered in oil and possibly fuel. So we cleaned those off. We checked this side, the first cylinder, or I don't know, this cylinder here was clean. So we didn't check that one. We're checking this one. And if this one is also clean, we're going to check that last one, and then that'll be it. All right, we're going to give this one more try, I guess. Please. She's running. She's finally running. A lot of smoke. Thing ain't got no gas in it too. Yeah, we should probably get some of that. I don't think there's a vacuum leak as far as I know, but unfortunately, for some reason, if I take my foot off of the gas, it'll just die. So, maybe it might have something to do with the gas, but I don't know. I feel like that would just kill it no matter what. Don't worry about the temperature. That's the thing is disconnected. Hoping that everything that's going on kind of solves itself. The idle's kind of adjusting itself right now. My foot's steady on the position. I'm not pressing any harder or any softer. It's in one steady position, but the idle keeps going up and then it'll go back down. So we'll see what's going on with this, but for right now, I think it's running fine. A lot richer than I was expecting it to run, but it's running. But the turbo's not on it. We're gonna get the turbo on it once we get the turbo fully sealed up, and then we'll try to run it with the turbo on it and see how that goes. All right, so this is what we are looking like. Stop paying too close attention to my welds, but there's a look at that thing. Look, you see that? Look at that. A turbo in there. Big ass turbo. It's great. Look at that. You know what that is. You see those markings? You know what these markings mean. You know what time it is. Garbage bag is officially on. So you must be wondering what's going on in my head right now. Well, we started cutting the hood before we even knew if this thing started. We cut it before we even knew that it would run with the turbo in this configuration. We don't know if it's gonna blow up. So perhaps this entire project was for nothing, but it looks cool. I think it does, or it will, in a, you know, we'll make it look cool. It's all come down to this. Man, oh my God. So we're gonna go steal the battery from Kiki. We're gonna throw it in, and we are gonna see if this thing explodes, which, we might blow some turbo seals. That could happen. Or, I don't know. I guess we're just gonna see what happens. Maybe it runs, maybe it doesn't. It most likely it's not gonna run right, but we're gonna find out. Can't wait. Let's go do this. See if we got some noises. What? It's running. Hold up. Oh, what? Got the fucking turbocharged Lexus. We did it, boys. Turbocharged, running, not driving yet because there's a lot we got to do before we do that, but running. LS400, power steering is still in it, AC still in it, everything is still in the car. We just decided that we were going to work around everything that we didn't want to delete, because I'm pretty sure there's not. Maybe there's like one other kit out there where you can do a turbocharger, not delete your AC or power steering, and keep it all factory and stock and everything. This is just built around the stock system, and maybe the turbo is way too big for this application. Honestly, I believe it is. But yeah, we did it. We did it.